Section 2.6. All right, we've been spending a lot of time on gases. Now we have to we're going to talk about liquids and solids and how liquids and solids can go from liquids to solids. Liquids can go to gases. Solids can go to gases. Solids can go to liquids. What is that called? That's called a phase change. So when something undergoes a phase change, what does that mean? Well, it's a physical change. So a phase change, a physical change, it's going from one state to another. And remember, there are only 3 states of matter. Or, well, we have 4, but we're only focused on 3. So solid, liquid, gas. So it's going to go from a solid to a liquid, solid to a gas, liquid to a solid, liquid to a gas, or solid to a gas. So a phase change. There's 6 types of common phase changes. You have freezing, evaporation, freezing, vaporization, condensation, sublimation, deposition, and then add in melting. So we have melting, freezing. You guys know melting, freezing. We have vaporization or evaporation, as you might call it, evaporation, condensation. And then we have sublimation and deposition. Now you may not know a whole lot about those two, and we're going to talk a little bit about sublimation and deposition as we get on towards the end of this section. When anything goes through a phase change, so let's think about it. When ice melts, at what temperature does ice melt? Ice melts at, what temperature does ice melt at? It melts at 32 degrees Fahrenheit, but do we use Fahrenheit in science? No, we use Celsius. It melts at 0 degrees Celsius. During a phase change, the temperature of a substance does not change, which means that if I had an ice cube and I was measuring the temperature of that ice cube, the second the ice cube hit 0 degrees, it's going to stay at 0 as the entire ice cube melts until all of the ice is turned into water. Once all of the ice is turned into liquid water, the temperature can start to rise, but not until then. So we use heat. Heat obviously is going to use to melt things, or the absence of heat freezes things. How does that work? That energy, heat is energy. That energy breaks bonds between molecules. So remember, solids are really, really close together. When you add energy to them, it lets them spread out a little bit and get further apart. Well, when they spread out, they're no longer going to be a solid. They're going to be a liquid. And if you keep adding heat, you're going to spread out the molecules even more, so they're not even a liquid, and the molecules are spread really far out, and they turn to a gas. Now, if we look at a chart with a misspelling on it, vaporization obviously is not spelt that way, so just ignore the spelling there. You can see that when we go from a solid to liquid to a gas, when the phase change happens, the temperature stays the same. So if this was water, this temperature is 0 degrees Celsius right here. And when it goes from a liquid to a gas, this temperature would be 100 degrees Celsius. We are going to play around with this a little bit. We're going to do a couple labs in which we record temperature when we are working with phase changes. So something to keep in mind with temperature and phase changes. When we talk about heat, heat is energy. There are phase changes happen due to energy. I am adding heat, I'm adding energy, or I'm taking away heat, I'm taking away energy. So phase changes occur when there is an absorption or a release of energy. I'm giving away energy or I'm taking energy. And there's a term for each of those. If something is called endothermic, that means it's absorbing energy. The easiest way to remember endothermic is heat is entering. All right? Heat is entering. So something is getting warmer. Heat is entering. That's an endothermic reaction. Likewise, if something is releasing energy, it is called exothermic because the heat is exiting. So during a phase change, there's either the absorption or release of energy. If it's being released or exiting, it's called exothermic. If it's entering the substance or being added on, it's called endothermic. So we have endothermic and exothermic. And those are the two types of energy changes that can occur when we have a phase change.